folks. It's time for some Friday Tea with JG. And today I have a great guest with us, Stephanie. Stephanie is a loan officer. Stephanie, please introduce yourself.
My name's Stephanie Maulding. I'm a loan officer at CrossCountry Mortgage. I've been in lending for 30 years and been around the block, seen a lot of things. And I love helping people figure out this whole mystery that we call mortgages.
You talk about the mystery of mortgages. And I think to most of us, we have this idea that a mortgage, you need to have 20% down, you need to have great credit. There are these myths that we've been told since we were little kids about how to get a mortgage and how to get a home. Are there any particular myths that you know of that you could just help us dismiss?
The one that you mentioned, which is that still is out there, is that you need a 20% down payment and great credit. Those two things are perpetually always going to be, I think, the roadblock in people's mind. Whereas, especially for first-time home buyers, we want to promote homeownership, and so we're looking for solutions for those things specifically. So we have things like down payment assistance, or just even conventional loans offer 3% down for first-time home buyers.
Okay.
Credit, credit scores are important. However, there are loan products that are good loan products, not expensive, that are much more flexible on the credit. And what I do is if somebody says, well, I'm kind of struggling with my credit scores, and I'll ask, well, why do you think that is? And a lot of times they don't know. They just, they watch Credit Karma and it's still a mystery.
Right.
And so I'll go in and look and see. And a lot of times it's a different thing that they didn't realize, such as they might have a credit card that has a $500 limit and they use it, but they pay it on time every time. Maybe they even pay off the balance every month. But if you run up the balance on a credit card, choose a limit, and it reports the limit, then you get your statement. Now the credit score bureaus think that you're always maxing out your credit card.
Right.
So the first thing we do is look for the little easy tweaks that give you the benefit. But I think it's less of a concern than people realize, or not realize, but it's less of a concern than people think that it is. It's a very solvable
issue. There is, right now, I think every day when I'm talking to people, they ask me how the market is. And the main reason they're asking that question is really around mortgage rates. And, the mortgage rate is at 7%, the mortgage rate is at 8%. How are you as a mortgage loan officer helping people to understand mortgage rates and how they can work within the mortgage rates we have now to still even buy a house and still, really gain equity? Like, why is now still a good time to buy a home with mortgage rates where they are?
First answer, the best time to buy a home was yesterday, right? The second best is today, because no matter what, you need to own a home so that you can stop inflation on that home, like in your housing expense. So regardless of what interest rates are doing, you just need to figure out what is the snapshot of your budget that you can buy, and then just work within that. Yes, rates are higher, and so it means that you qualify for a lower amount. We won't give you a loan that you can't afford.
Right.
We're not allowed.
Right.
So it might be that you need to change kind of like what you do with your slush money. But it's impossible to time the market where that you're buying the house at the lowest price you can and you're getting the interest rate at the lowest price. You can't do it because higher interest rates usually kind of slow down the increase in house prices, and higher interest rates ramp it up. So you're in the end in the same. basically.
Right.
So I say buy the house when you can afford a house. And if you're a first time home buyer, this might be kind of hard to hear,
Mm.
but I believe that you don't buy the beautiful turnkey forever home as
Right.
your first house. You need to buy your house that you can, get in there, use a little elbow grease, bring up the value of the property, stay there for 5 years, take the equity, and then you're moving into your, maybe not your forever home, but a good long time home
Yeah.
for your family. So to be a little bit more flexible with what you're buying so that you can get a piece of that equity building.
Well, and I can say from personal experience that's a really true statement. We bought our non-forever home, and we were in there for about 2 years, and the amount that we made in equity gave us a huge down payment on our 30-year forever home.
Yeah.
And it was really a question of, okay, do we want to do this? But the thing that made us say yes was we were tired of paying rent, and that money
Going nowhere,
not helping us out.
no tax benefits, no, like nothing.
Yes, nothing. Yeah, that was really the impetus. And when I look at rents across King County, the area that I live in, the median rental price is $3,900. Yeah, and so that's more than my mortgage.
Right.
So,
But my guess is when you first bought a house, it was a little hard to digest because usually your house payment on a mortgage is more expensive than rent. But give yourself a few years and it completely flips.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of bite the bullet there a little bit. But we kind of did a little bit opposite with the intention of doing exactly what you did.
Okay.
But we bought our first house and it was going to be 5 years max.
Right.
But we got in there and realized, oh my goodness, we have this entire basement that is not being utilized. So we actually ended up adding a bedroom, adding a bathroom, turned the house from 2 bedrooms, which was not going to last because we didn't have kids at that point.
Gotcha.
And then we added a bedroom, and then it ended up we stayed there for 20 years.
Wow.
Kept the house. It's now a rental house, a very good solid rental house.
Oh yeah.
And we did take the equity from a home equity line of credit and used as our down payment on our next house, which we've been there for now 9 years, and it's doubled in value at least.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, the reason I started doing these interviews is to talk to people about how to grow wealth. And what you just described there is things that people don't know, that the equity that they gain just from that first home can be used to purchase their next home and still keep that first home and do exactly what you did, rent it out, have that first property still making money for you at the end of the day. And that is awesome. That right there is part of the American dream, because you can then either just keep that home and let it continuously generate revenue for you. You can say, okay, well, kids, we're tired of just dealing with it. Here, you guys deal with it. And it becomes an asset that they then have that pays for college for their kids, and, just becomes a revenue spigot that, as long as you maintain it, never goes away. And then if you want to sell it one day.
Well, yeah. I mean, now at this point, I know it's just a matter of doing that. I could sell that, there's massive equity in that house. I mean, we bought it in 1995.
Oh, gosh. Like $100,000. Yeah.
And buy multiple investment properties. And now we can use depreciation and, cut down on our taxes. So it's a very good tool.
Yeah.
When we use it.
Right.
Yeah.
That is definitely the key, is actually going ahead and using it.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up, what is well, one, how do people get in contact with you?
You can find me online. That's
Okay.
probably the easiest. But so my name is Stephanie Maulding, so you can just Google Stephanie Maulding CrossCountry Mortgage or mortgage, or my cell number is 206-571-3999.
I'll have her contact details in the comments and in the description. Um, if there was one thing you could say to a potential home buyer today, after your years in the business, what would it be?
I would say just start the conversation, because you probably have a lot of questions that are, creating some roadblocks and fear, and it's just good to bounce those ideas and questions off somebody who knows the answers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Warning: you'll probably buy a house.
Got it. Got it. I look, the more you know is something that I used to love seeing. The more you know. And it's because it alleviates those fears and it allows you to move forward. Hey, Stephanie, I really appreciate you taking the time. And hope you have a great rest of your week and a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Appreciate it.